Cool. Okay, guys, I got a few more just coming in, so it's like every time I try to record, it's on record. Um, so let me kind of wait. Drake, how are you? I know I've talked to you a few times. Sean, long time no see, buddy. I
Yeah,
know
real.
it's been a while, man. Was it
Yeah,
been 2 or 3 years since we met at Rome's?
probably.
Yeah, they just had to do a 6-day liquor license suspension, which
Oh
kind of
no.
sucks. Yeah, so it kind of sucks. It's done now, but yeah. All right, guys. I've got a recording. For you guys who can kind of want to introduce you to real quick to my one of my business partners, Kevin Knapp, is there in the corner. So Kevin's in Kansas City. For those of you who are from the Denver area, you will know Kevin's family: Stevenson Chevrolet, Toyota, Denver West, all that. So that was there. His uncle started that. His cousins ran the dealerships, Colorado Mills Mall, Denver West Office Park. So I know Sean, you're from Denver, so you probably drive by Kevin's business a lot. But Kevin's in Kansas City, guys, and Kevin's actually preparing some information on the economy. You guys are all hearing a lot of stuff going on the economy, Bricks. We're not going to go over it tonight, but we're going to try to set up a special event maybe this week or next week. We're taking Labor Day weekend off, though, guys, from all of our groups and our associates group and these sessions next week. We won't be doing anything. But right now, this is August 28th, guys, and kind of just going to give you a little bit of a background. So we have the Private Money Associates group, and we have this EMD Gap group. What we've seen in the last maybe 8, 9, 10 months is a lot of people are looking for assistance, EMD, earnest money deposits, and getting gap funding. And a lot of people are looking to lend money, and you can lend money from anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000, sometimes more. That's more or less for EMD to help wholesalers do double closings, do cleaner transactions, things like that. So we've established the EMD and Gap group. Our goal is to probably cap at about 3,500 or so. We're capping our associates group at about 100 right now. We're around 74, 75. That includes myself, Kevin, and our other partner, Jesse, and a few people that are some pretty good people that we've recruited for it. I'll give you guys the background on two of our board members for our private money associates group and all that. And for our whole organization, we have a 7-person advisory board. These are some of the people are lenders, some are private money brokers. Two are really unique. One is Erica. She's spent 25 years in the lending space in the private money real estate, but 10 years of that was at Wells Fargo for corporate, where she was a risk manager, underwriter, and exceptions manager. So if you guys know anything about like the Wells Fargo, JP Morgan's, those big 10, 12 banks, an exceptions manager supervisor is pretty high up there. They actually show Eric was 10 years with Wells Fargo. She's now gone back to the private money lending space and has a pretty good situation with her own set of lenders. Then we have one of Kevin's friends, and Kevin may touch on this a little bit later in today's session. Is his friend Gwen? Gwen actually pretty much retired, left the Federal Reserve. She was a banker with the Federal Reserve branch in Kansas City, which oversees Omaha and Denver, a few other areas. You guys know that the Federal Reserve meets in Jackson Hole, Wyoming every year, and that's hosted by the Kansas City branch. And that's where, the Fed chairman and even I think it's like a couple of the assistant secretaries of the Treasury meet. A lot of stuff going on economy wise. We'll touch on it briefly at the end. I'll let Kevin kind of do a presentation real quick, 2 or 3 minutes. But our EMD and Gap group, guys, is really an ideal place for people who want to join, who want to get in the organization, and have access to our associates, because a lot of our associates can lend money. Like I said, they can loan two to $10,000. We have some associates that can lend up to over 100,000. We've got a couple right now that are working to recruit some other friends and associates of theirs. Altogether, right now, we think casually, kind of off the top of our head from the calculation of talking, that we have $2.5 to $3 million in liquid capital. So it's the ideal situation is that our associates who loan money are peer-to-peer, associate to associate. So we have a system in place developing through our associates group, which we meet on Monday night and we meet on Wednesday nights. Our associates group, like tonight, meets at 5:30. They basically will be the Monday after Labor Day. They will be basically like a Shark Tank, allowing people that come into the EMD Gap group and other people to actually come in and pitch them live in person. Now you can pitch them anytime. Obviously, you'll have people will have contact information for how to contact our lenders in the group, and even our our private money brokers and our first position lenders, which I would include like Casey Hagedorn, who's I'm going to invite you guys to a guest pass to attend our associate session on Wednesday night to evaluate if that's something you'd like to be interested in doing further follow up because Casey's got his company has an incredible amount of lending capacity. They have a flip program for flipping. They've got 4 states right now, though they can actually do a lot of their programs in 48 states. It just depends on what what you're looking to do. If you're going to flip, if you're going to do some other multifamily, there's different things they have. They're really good on short-term rentals. They're really good on storage. But in Colorado, Texas, Tennessee, and I think they're picking up. There's one other state right now that 4. They're also picking up the 2 Carolinas, but they can do 48 states for most of their programs. Everything but Alaska and Hawaii. Obviously, there's not a lot of comps, not a lot of stuff in Alaska, especially. I mean, Hawaii's probably there's some stuff probably in Hawaii, but they can do 48 states. They also have the ability to do conventional. He has one of his bosses, one of the owners of the company, is licensed and can do FHA and VA on conventional mortgages. So you have an advantage if you work with us of being able to, if you need a conventional, you can actually go through Casey. Casey's actually got a good program too, and he'll be talking about it Wednesday night, where you can just provide him with name, contact information, and what they're doing, and you get a referral fee pretty good, and they actually pay you a referral fee, or you can board with them as a broker. So there's a lot of ways with Casey's company. You guys will hear more about that on Wednesday night. So our group on this group here is onboarding. Basically, we're going to have a lot of real estate investors who are looking for. Like I said, you could be a wholesaler looking to double closes, cleaner closes, have the resources. You'll get a lot of the stuff in the associates group. You'll get maybe 15 to 20% of what the associates group, and I'll tell you more about what they get in a minute. But you'll get some access to some additional support and technical support, some resources, documents, things like that. If you're interested in wholesaling or you want to start breaking in where you need gap funding, and then you need access to our lenders like Casey or to our private money brokers like Willie, like Erica, like Gwen's even got some programs for that as well. We have a number of private money brokers. We have Simi. You guys know Simi and Willie Ingram. If you guys see them all over Facebook, they're in all the real estate groups. They're 2 of our board members. So they have a lot of capacity to broker deals. We've also got Matt Gray, who's an expert on slow flips, and we're bringing another person on that does slow flips, and they're actually from the United Kingdom. We're actually global. We have an associate and a person contact of us in Melbourne, Australia. If you guys know who Elena McDonald is, and then we also have an associate who's in Pakistan, whose family's from Pakistan. She's actually from Dallas, but she's over there in Pakistan taking care of family business. Like I guess I don't know. Imagine probate in the United States now. Think about like probate in Pakistan. So she's over there taking care of some business. We'll be adding this other gentleman from the United Kingdom. So that's a phenomenal opportunity to get an incredible amount of information from overseas because, guys, the United Kingdom has Airbnb too, but they call it other things. And there's a lot of issues with Airbnb over the United Kingdom. Ireland and Scotland and literally some parts of England are actually trying to do everything they can, like a lot of communities here, to ban it. And obviously there's a lot of different terminology, flats versus apartments, things like that. So it's kind of interesting in there. So we're kind of global. We're really, we're picking up a lot of resources. So, like I said, our associates group, these guys have seen me post because everybody's seen me post. Like I post almost every day. Our associates group is really good because they have a lot of access to resources and guides. We have a number of guides right now, about 16 altogether. I have the ability to put almost 50 guides together, and that'll happen between now and the end of October. So guides are like a self-study, self-paced A to Z everything in real estate. If you want to go in there and just look at and it's cool. You can just go there and pull up the guides, and you can go right to the section you want. So if you want information on options versus lease options, completely different things, you can actually pull that information up. If you want information on seller carry or subject to, we've got those information. We got the baseline. We're not gonna guru you and give you everything you need, but we're gonna give you enough where you can actually, if that's something you want to do, you've got a baseline for what you can actually go and do. So you don't need to go and find like another program, another guru, you don't need to pay for it. We try to make sure that everybody's got everything covered. We also have an area called, you guys see it in groups, files. and it's something Facebook provides. Our files section is chock full of downloads. We have a lot of contracts. We have contracts you can use even in some of the states where you need special contracts. We have a lot of documents, analyzers, contracts, calculators. You can go in and get a multifamily analyzer. We got 3 of them. You can get a short-term rental analyzer. We got a buy and hold. We got a cost of capital analyzer. All these calculators and analyzers in our associates group are, you can just download whatever you need. We have a complete scope of work. We have complete scope of work sections. We have a 3 different ones that are form fillable. Goes through A to Z. Starts at permitting. Once you bought the property, you're doing cleanup. You're doing if you have to clean up, if you buy a foreclosure, you got to clean up after the eviction or the foreclosure. It starts there, but it ends all the way down when you're doing staging, and it's got everything. And we've got some resources as well. We offer you guys some. You can just sign up for free. We got a program called Company Cam. It's a different company. You can sign up for free. It's accountability. It's a lot of stuff for your contractor and you. And if you're a lender, you can require your borrowers to use Company Cam because there's a free section. Unless you're doing a huge amount of volume, you are never going to need their paid section. And people can actually take pictures with their camera phone or even a pro camera or whatever, upload them right away, and you see them like in real time. So instead of having to pay like inspection fees, you can actually just have somebody upload the pictures. And in the scope of work section, if you're doing the kitchen this week, you got to have the backsplash in, you got to have the appliances and the counters done, the flooring done, the trim done, you got to have all the outlets done, the cabinets all to be in and level. You got those 7 or 8 steps in the kitchen. They're taking steps to before and after pictures of the installation of all the completion. They're able to take pictures that way. That's a pretty good substantial. So we make sure you guys have a lot of we'll do this too for the EMD group. We'll make sure you have resources. The EMD group is going to be really great for a couple, hopefully a couple thousand people can come into it and actually have access to our 100 for now, but eventually growing lenders, brokers, and people with money to lend. Anywhere from 2,000 to 10,000 for wholesalers, like I said, but they could have up to $100,000. And if you guys are participating and you actually have relationships with those people, you're going to go into the Monday night sessions. We do it 5:30 Denver time every Monday, except for next week. Obviously, next week we're taking Labor Day week off, and then we're going all the way through November with our Wednesday night course. I'll tell you the difference between Monday and Wednesday. So Monday nights is going to be like Shark Tank. You can come on and you can do a presentation with our lenders and our brokers live. You see them on camera, they see you on camera. And if you don't want to be on camera, you guys most of the people right now are just listening. You guys don't need to you can stop video and just talk or listen or whatever. But if you got a presentation to make, you can also then go into a breakout room with that lender or 2 or 3 lenders and you can discuss the deal. A lot of this is going to happen organically. A lot of the stuff that has happened in the last year with us has happened organically. We've been doing this since 2020, right during the heart of COVID. We were actually doing a couple of things. We were launching a virtual program, which I'll explain a little bit because it's back on the table. And we were also doing a capital raise. Both got obviously suspended because of the COVID. But in the fall of 2020, we started realizing we need to get back in action and get people, I tell people that's why, you guys have seen my breachers thing that says boom. It's kind of related to the guys that went to Iraq and Afghanistan that were breaching, you guys hear about breacher syndrome, a lot of special forces, SEALs, those kind of people. So the breachers, they could go through walls, they could go through doors, they could go through roofs, whatever. So I looked at it as having a group where all the real estate investors that are in this group can basically don't have walls put up in front of them. You just go around them, you go through them, you go over them, whatever it takes. So we kind of put that in play in 2020, and Kevin and Jesse Page and I started doing a group where we started really talking, just trying to spread out our knowledge rather than keeping it contained because I had been brokering private money since 2017. I did 250 deals. I went to the Lee Arnold program, 40-hour in classroom work. I've done 250 deals. I started realizing that I've got a lot of stuff. I've got all the databases. I got all the hedge fund. I got 10,000 contacts. I got 1,300 lender contacts. We have about 800 right now that are active in our database. We send them out twice a year to get verification. If there's 1,300 on the list, but there's only about 850 we heard back from last time. So I'm only going to put those 850 into the pivot table. So we have all these resources, and I'm like, well, let's just get it out to these people. We had 13 people signed up. Out of the 13 people, 6 are still with us. Some of the people, obviously, we had a guy who's very successful in insurance, did some real estate, he went into life insurance and is killing it. I talk to him almost, 2 or 3 times a week. Kevin, you might remember Brent Thomas. So you guys might see Brent Thomas out there a lot. He's actually very, very successful in life insurance and I mean, like killing it. So I know he still does real estate, but he doesn't do a lot of, he's not as active as he, so obviously we got Wayne McDonald. You guys will see, Cameron Barry. Cameron Barry is a huge success story. He was 22, 23 years old, just out of college in 2020. And now he is doing, you guys will see him. You'll see the red and black post that says, "We'll pay you to build a portfolio." At 20, his age, mid 20s, he's already got investors that he's working with that'll help you with 50 rental properties. Buy them, the acquisition, the down payment assistance, and they'll pay you cash at closing in most cases. You have to have a well, it was a 660, but right now they're looking around 700. If you do have 700 scores across the board, they do look at credit. It has to be in the Midwest. They can help people finance, get 50 rental properties. There's your income, there's your cash flow, there's your assets. In 2 years when they season, you can actually refi them. You can get them refi them. You can cross collateralize. You can sell them. You could go into bigger assets. Like I said, the two catches are, you gotta have a 700 score. It was 660. They may lower it. There's obviously some stuff in the economy that's, causing us some concern. And you have to be in the Midwest. We also have Robert Newborn, who is in Fort Worth, retired police officer from the Dallas Fort Worth area. Robert had zero real estate when he took our program in 2020. And in June last year, in 2022, you guys will see a YouTube interview Kevin and I did with him. He had $75 million portfolio. Um, by now he's probably over 100 million. He was setting up a lending company. They kind of held back off that and they went into some storage. They were doing multifamily. They're now doing a lot of storage. And then obviously Helena McDonald, you guys will see her. She's in a lot of groups out of Melbourne, Australia. And we helped her actually get a LLC, get her business established in Wyoming. So she can legally broker money in Wyoming. And she's working on some other bigger things. Kevin's working with her on some stuff that we kind of keep on the down low at her request. But, she's out of Melbourne, Australia, and she's able to legally broker money in the United States, the same as, with the gentleman out of the United Kingdom I just told you about. And then obviously our associate who's in Pakistan right now is from Dallas. So she's just in Pakistan taking care of her family. But we have a lot of resources. So in the associates group, they also get obviously the Wednesday Zooms. And the Wednesday Zooms are a great opportunity. They're usually 2.5 hours. And we cover everything last week. We covered some documents. We talked about assignment contracts and we did a wholesale contract. We have two different wholesaler contracts. One has all the EMD and Gap. It's got the lending terms for doing EMD and Gap for wholesalers. And then we have the A to B and the B to C transaction contracts. So if you're a wholesaler and you're doing with the seller, it's the A to B. If you're doing, then you get your buyer, it's the B to C. We got EMD and Gap lenders and you guys, if you guys are interested and you're here because you want to lend your money, we basically provide all the resources for you guys to do that and to do that to the EMD Gap group that we're going to be building. Our goal, like I said, is we're going to try to recruit about 3,500 people in there. With 100 associates, we may need more, obviously, but with 100 to 3,500, there's one for every 35. So that way people can get into real estate, and you've got a group. You guys hear all the time, it's relationships. How better of a relationship if you log in on Monday night at 5:30 and you've got 20 lenders on there you can make a presentation to, and you already know what lenders are looking for, their guidelines, what KC's looking for, what, Simi and Willie are brokering. You've got a couple other people that are brokering. You got Matt Gray and Slow Flips. You already know these people. So you can hit them up at any time. It's associate to associate, peer to peer. Our thing is we're provided the backbone. We're providing the format and the systems and all that stuff. And they get access to a lot of downloads. Like I said, right now there's over 90. By the time we're done by November 16th, because we're doing those Wednesday sessions through November 16th, we're doing the Mondays. We're not meeting next Wednesday or Monday, but we're not meeting Veterans Day Monday. We're going every Wednesday and every week through November 16th. The thing is, by then, everybody will be kind of into Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff. And we may do a few things in December from time to time, but they're not going to be like a scheduled thing. And then we do have a lot of watch hours, guys. We sometimes we'll have we have 74 people in the group. Sometimes we'll have 10 people, 20 people in the group, but we're averaging about 50 watch hours every week on our Zoom. So we can see that in the YouTube. And what we do on our Wednesday night Zooms is we'll only publish to the public like twice a month I mean, like 2 out of every 10 or 1 out of every 10 just to promote. But we do keep the Monday night sessions. We will record them just for the group, but we don't put those out on the public YouTube. It's just for the group. So that way, anybody in either, any of our associates or anybody on Monday nights or Wednesday nights that has to miss a session, you can just go to chats in our Facebook group and the associates Facebook group and watch those videos after the fact. Now I got to post because I'm a little bit behind, but I'm gonna have those posted this week and obviously take advantage of next week. I'll get a lot of stuff done, guides and some more files uploaded. But our group has almost everything. Like I said earlier, we have put together a considerable amount of data, a considerable amount of documents, of analyzers, of contracts, of contacts. Like I said, we've got our hedge fund and family office list, about 10,000 contacts. You got the Excel, you got the CSV, you can go import the CSV database into LinkedIn. You'll have 3,000 friends at hedge funds and family offices. Will you never need them? Who knows? But when you're out there on LinkedIn and you're talking to people about doing real estate transactions, they're going to look at you and go, oh, this guy's got Peter Thiel's company in his contacts. It goes beyond contacts or connections. You got a connection there. It's not like you just, you're following the guy. All of a sudden you get a couple of his employees. You're not going to get him, obviously. You're not going to get Jared Birchall, who's Elon Musk's family office guy, but his company's in there. So you get a couple of employees. We have our databases have their name, their email, their company email, their contact information. They have their access, how much they got assets under management, what they invest in. So there's a lot of them. We got more common, like I said, about 1,300 lenders. So that doesn't include the lenders, live lenders in our group, guys. In our associates group, we have live lenders. Every Monday night will be starting. Let's see, what is it? The September 11th. Monday it'll be like Shark Tank. You guys can come in there, like I said, and I've said this a couple of times already tonight. I do like to recap because we get people joining us late and stuff. So we have a great group. We have an opportunity where people can actually present live to people. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can come in there and you're going to hear lender presentations. Wednesday night, everybody's going to get a guest pass. You'll be able to hear the lender presentation from Casey Hagedorn. We've got anybody that's a lender that joins our company, that joins our organization and our group. You can have a night, or half a night. Depends. He has a 2-hour presentation. If you need that much, then we have to schedule that. Otherwise, we're going to be able to make sure that you guys have plenty of opportunity to introduce your companies. That'll mostly be on Monday nights. We just chose Wednesday because this is kind of a dead week before the break, before we get back, and we're going to be doing a lot of analyzes, and we're going to be going through how to do a lot of these documents we have. But if you're a lender and you come into this space, you can actually do a presentation to people, put your guidelines out there, and you guys will have a built-in client and borrower base. So with that, guys, I'm really quick going to ask Kevin to join us real quick, kind of just give you a back. He can give you kind of a little bit of a look on what, he's seen of me, what we're doing. And then he'll kind of give you a little bit of a rundown too on what he's running into and what he's seeing. There's a lot of stuff in the economy. We're going to be doing a special presentation. So we don't want to scare anybody on this. I know some people may not have an interest, but there's a few things going on with bricks and stuff. So one of the things we try to do is put some information out, and we'll do that as a separate event. It won't be part of the Mondays or Wednesdays. Won't cost anything. It's just going to be it's going to be put out exclusively to our people, to the people in our group, so they can hear a lot about stuff. Kevin's tied into some. Obviously, he has the connection with Gwen. I told you about the Federal Reserve. Kevin was actually invited in 2010 to the Federal Reserve branch in Kansas City, and he helped create what they call the Community Engagement Branch, which is a branch that came out, and they were looking to do a lot of stuff with housing in Kansas City. He was working on a project with the mayor of Kansas City and some other people too, actually, on the housing situation there. And that's where he, has built a relationship with Gwen Hinton, and Gwen is on our advisory board. So you're actually going to be joining a group, no matter what you do, EMD Gap or the Associates Group, that has a Federal Reserve banker as a board member. So that's pretty cool. And she's not really out there pushing. She's not really all over Facebook pushing stuff or social media. She pretty much is going through us on a lot of stuff. So you guys won't, have a chance to actually work with him. So Kevin can unmute. Sometimes he has some technical stuff. I'll just keep it until he's ready. I'm going to go ahead and take a lot of people off mute if anybody has questions or anything like that. So like I said, if you guys are, looking for gap funding or EMD funding, we're going to be able to go live 2 weeks from today. You can actually go live now if you meet Casey, you meet some other people. We have a number of people that, like I said, are loaning their own money. This is their own money. We've recruited a lot of people who said you got 2,000. A lot of people, guys, I see people all over Bigger Pockets. I see them all over social media. I got 10,000, I got 20,000 R's, I got 50, or I got an IRA. How do I make money off of it rather than bank? You can 10x it, 20x it. So a couple of our different programs, one of them is, you could we don't want anybody who's brand new to it to go all in either. Let's say you saved up $20,000. Well, we don't want you to loan $20,000 out on even your first like 10 times. What I'd rather do is break it up. And so most of you guys are experienced in real estate or just learning about it know that a lot of times closings are 30 days out, 45. So break it up. So break it up into four or $5,000 loans, and you do a sequence. And you basically week one, week two, week three, week four, maybe week five, but you go in generally about 4 week segments, and then you go over a 12-week period, and you add that principal back in your return. Like you said, it's paid to the title company. You guys know it's wholesalers. It's an A to B and a B to C. So you're funding the A to B. The B to C is coming back. They're deducting your return from their assignment fee. So the title company is paying you. They're giving the return back, and they're giving you and the principal. So if you then take all of your interest and your returns over 4 weeks and then 12 weeks, every week you're adding that return. 4 weeks later, let's say you loan out, $5,000 a week for 4 weeks, $20,000, you make 2 grand principal, interest back over that time. Then add that 2,000 that next 4 weeks, then you add that into it. Do that for 12 weeks. You added five, six, $7,000 on top of that principal, on top of that 20. That second 12-week period, that third, that fourth. By the time you've done it for a year, you've done 40, maybe out of 52 weeks of a year, you've got some pretty good return. You start getting to 50,000, 100,000, whatever, you can obviously do it much faster. So we're kind of setting that up where you can do these short term rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. We got all the forms and documents, we got the relationships, so people can do that. It's a little different from the Gator program because, guys, we have everything in house. We're gonna have a client base in house. We have all the first position lenders. We have brokers. And we have the EMD and Gap lenders, and we're gonna have all the like I said, the client borrowers all in house. It's gonna be very, and like a very not totally private and hidden, but we want to keep it smaller footprint. So that way everybody has a chance that gets into it to develop their relationships, build their income, their cash flow, their assets, and eventually their wealth before we go out to the public. Now, here's one more caveat, and I mentioned earlier a virtual program. In 2020, 2019, 2020, we were launching with Lightspeed VT, which is VT Vermont, Texas. And they use Grant Cardone uses it. There's a few other real estate people that use it. I know Case's company is actually looking at it as well for they got a lot. Wait till you guys see Wednesday night. So they have a lot of resources. But what we're going to be doing on Lightspeed is similar to what a company completely outside of the industry guys. It's called Storm Ventures Group. And before I got into this real estate stuff in 2017, which I transferred into the first 2 years, 2008, it took me to about 2019 to go full time into it. I was brokering. Um, they do storm restoration. They do insurance work. I mean, you're talking about like what's going on in Hawaii, what usually goes on in California, Texas, and Colorado, Florida, hurricanes, tornadoes, fires, floods, all that stuff. So they train a lot of the restoration companies, and they train insurance adjusters, and they have a virtual program. When I had my company doing the same thing, I was paying $1,000 a month for my production manager, my sales manager, and a couple of my salespeople to go through it. And so we're going to be working with Storm Ventures Group. They have a contractor store. So like I said, it's different industry, but we're going to have our university, which is going to be a complete A to Z. People can come in at any time at 3 o'clock in the morning. You come home from the club or whatever, or you come from work at 5 o'clock, you go plug in for an hour and you can go watch modules. And the modules are 5 to 7 minutes. A track will be anywhere from 20 to 30 modules. They're usually 4 to 7 minute modules because that's how people learn, with 2 to 3 questions at the end of it that are kind of like multiple choice and fill in the blanks kind of stuff. So it's gonna, a little bit like one fill in the blanks, two multiple choice kind of questions. If you guys come into the services group and you look at guides, you'll see a number of them have blanks. Those are the answers. Those are the questions and answers that are going to be going in the virtual program. So the virtual program launches January 1st. everyone who's in our associates group will get a lifetime membership for being part of the beta because I want to basically go in there with a couple hundred people to start with, make Lightspeed a little happy. And that way we have content. And then obviously everybody in the EMD and Gap group will get probably a 90-day, 60-day trial to go in there at a much better rate. Because like I said, you can actually go in there and take a track. You could go in there and take a flipping track. Like you take everything virtually and you'll have people, it's not going to be me. I mean, I'm gonna be hosting some things, but I'm going to have what I call facilitators. They're not teachers, coaches, or anything like that. They're going to be facilitators. They're going to be presenting the materials. These are going to be experienced people. Somebody's not going to be out there telling me they've flipped 50 houses if they haven't. We're going to verify it. We want to see, their track record before they're doing content. And then we want to do that with multifamily. We're going to have securities attorneys. We're going to have real estate attorneys and tax attorneys on there talking about things. We'll be talking about marketing, how to do your branding, how to do your logos, things like that. We've got a great guy for that already, but a lot of resources out there. So it's going to be a huge virtual system. And we'll be doing some live stuff. I'll be on there at least once a week doing things. I'm not going to disengage and be like, hey, we're 100% virtual. The virtual is so people can feel comfortable learning at their own pace, learning, and then basically, they can take multiple tracks. They can do a monthly subscription or an annual and take everything. Or they could just come in and take like, hey, I'm going to learn how to flip. I'm going to learn how to do my first rental properties, and you guys that want to facilitate, there's two levels. There's ambassador and there's facilitators. We also have a third one, which is people who want to do a mini course. So say you want to do a mini course, but you don't want to, you want to be able to get that out there and you want to be able to have support. You can do a mini course. Obviously, the mini course would be like a joint venture with us for providing all the stuff and all that. But facilitators and ambassadors will be getting revenue share, 33% of all revenue will be kicked back to our facilitators and ambassadors. Ambassadors are people who host, recruit, things like that, bring people in, go out and promote it, kind of like affiliates. But I want to actually, I want to pay people good money. And our productions, our projections were about 9 to 10 million by the third year. I think we'll actually do that in about 2 years because a lot of stuff is still virtual. I mean, there's people still just now getting back to live events. And I used to go to the Pitbull conference, which is now MPLA conference. I sponsored there. The last one is in October 2019. It was $17,000 all in. It included swag, event staff, that included the hotel, airfare, a lot of the food that wasn't part of the event, plus sponsoring the event, which was $7,500. So it's pretty, we're going to be doing a lot of those events, but people are now starting to do live in-person events. I know John Morey from Jim Ingersoll's group, Real Estate Investor Network, he's doing the Southern Charm Real Estate Conference in September. His first conference is actually going. It's selling out. He's getting a lot of sponsors. Rod Khalifa, has been doing things. He's the legend, guys, and you all know who Rod is. Rod's going to be doing a multifamily boot camp in September in Orlando. He'll probably be doing one in Denver next year because he's actually came to the United States through Denver when he was 6 years old when he immigrated with his mom. So we still think that a lot of people still want to do some virtual stuff. And the other thing is virtual allows people to obviously spread the money out. You don't have, maybe you do one or two conferences a year where you fly, you stay in a hotel. It's nice to get away. But imagine if you could actually just go in any time during the year and just take some modules or take some tracks or whatever and get, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, but I don't know. But I got a subscription, so I'm going to go study this. I'm going to go do these 30 modules and learn a little bit about it. And out of that, at the contractor store, like they have their example, we'll call it something else. You'd be able to actually go in there and get all the documents, contracts, and the packs you need of everything. So you could actually just like business in a box. I want to go do this. So I'm going to go get the 10 forms. It's all branded. We'll have the ability to put your logo on it and stuff like that. Everything we have. So there'll be complete packs. And like I said, there'll be a subscription. There'll be a VIP where you can get like one price and you can do everything, year round or whatever. You can just literally download everything at one time if you want, so that's going to be launching in January. And Chris Kulik, I don't know if you guys, anybody know who he is, he's a very successful, he's done a lot of real estate investing. And I met him in Denver and when I was transitioning and he moved to Georgia and he does a lot of corporate training. So Chris actually worked with Lightspeed in 2019, 2020 before the pandemic. We're literally going to be launching in July 2020. And we had our capital raise, which kind of got, obviously with COVID. So there's a lot going on with us. And like I said, I'm building content, getting a lot of stuff together for that. That's what I do a lot during the day. When you guys see me posting, I'm actually also working on content and getting stuff I can just feed into the virtual system. We'll have a professional studio. We'll have, it's going to be awesome. It's going to look like tuned into like Fox News or something. Election. I'm not going to mention election. Actually, it's probably the word we shouldn't use these days. But if you guys, maybe their sports channel or something, you guys, everything's going to be a professional, like a studio setting where we can actually talk about a lot of stuff, but we'll also be able to you'll be able to log in and just take a course. We'll take a track. I am gonna go learn flipping, and I'm gonna learn about here's how I go to a sheriff's auction. We want to go a couple sheriff's auctions live, and if we're able to film them. If we're not able to, we'll role play. We'll try to we want experienced people to be the facilitators, and we'll get ambassadors, people who can host to go out there and host it and go like, hey, we'll go out and talk to Rod Cleef, or we'll go talk to Adam Adams or Chad Whitfield in Denver, who's one of Adam's marketing guys. Go out there and actually do an interview with them and actually run them through, how you doing this? What are you doing? We want everybody to get real world experience, and we want people to be able to share in that. So that's what this EMD Gap group is. Like I said, we're building the client borrower group, and then we're building the associates group. Still, there's about 25 more openings in it before we cap it at 100. And I'm looking at probably about 3,500 total for EMD Gap. Like I said, then it's a good ratio. I got a lot of people, and then so I don't know if anybody has any questions or trying to get Kevin. Kevin, are you able to unmute? So see the questions are cool. Yeah, we got some people with one of our associates in here, Chris, has a little AI program that does all the transcription and notes for him. So I have to read it. Sometimes I get chats, make questions about it. But let me go ahead and start unmuting people. If anybody has any questions on it. Cool. So I did ask a lot of people to unmute. Kevin, are you able to unmute? So guys, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, unless you guys have specific questions, you guys can ask them in chats or whatever. But I'm going to give everybody a invitation, like I said, to Wednesday night's associates group. And we do have a lot. It's going to be awesome because you guys will hear the presentation. And if anybody in here is interested in being a lender, and you want a presentation, all that stuff, we'll set you up so you can talk to the group. And, we're going to be bringing a lot of people to you. So you got a lot of people to be educated, a little bit more education than, your average borrower. And they're going to know how to do paperwork, clean paperwork. They have contracts. They have everything this, imagine this, guys. Think about the virtual system. If you're in there, you are a lender. You are getting somebody who's in the virtual program. As a lender in the program, you will be able to actually see people working and doing coursework. You're able to say, hey, I just saw this guy go through 20 tracks. Imagine how, you can see them doing the work. That helps you feel confident if you're loaning the money that, hey, this person's doing the work. So our lenders will actually be given read-only access to be able to see people. They can actually go and get, we don't know exactly what it's going to look like. We think it may just be if somebody applies, you can actually do the, be able to go and check it and say, hey, this person's completed a flipping track or whatever. I'm going to loan them money. But we've got some incredible lenders already, guys. We have Willie Ingram's got zero gravity, which he can explain. A lot of these programs I let them explain. Like Casey's program, it's gonna take him 2 hours at least on Wednesday night to actually go through all his programs. He put some stuff out today. And if you guys work with us and you guys want an income stream, you can give them referrals. You can give them referrals on conventional mortgages and get a referral fee. He'll tell you exactly how to talk to them legally, so you don't get any issues, obviously, at the NMLS and all that stuff. You'll be able to actually, if you want to broker with them, you can onboard. We have other lenders with Vizio, Togo, Lending One, Lima One, Ground Floor, Rock. We got 3 people in the pipeline for Rock Capital to be correspondent lenders. All those 3 people, including Eric and Willie, Simi, will all be, and a couple others will all be correspondent lenders within 6 to 9 months after they've followed them in their brokering before they convert them. They will have anywhere from $10 to $25 million credit line, basically warehouse line to lend money. So imagine you've got a relationship now with somebody in 6 months. they become a correspondent lender and they've got $25 million to lend. Think about that relationship that you will have with them pre-existing. That's pretty powerful. So everything we're trying to do is try to empower everybody, and we're trying to build a group. And like I said, once we get we'll have the associates pretty much done in the next, not this week, probably the next couple of weeks. We'll have it capped out, and then we're going to build the EMD Gap group as a client and borrower base. There's a lot of people that are looking for money, not just wholesalers and stuff. Obviously, if you're doing flips of rental properties, you can access the associates. And everybody's friendly. We don't judge. People come in, they're brand new. People come in and their numbers aren't exactly there. We're not going to ever, we'd rather pull somebody off to the side and do a breakout group and kind of, okay, well, when you get this analyzer, and somebody in the group's able to go help them, and that way they can go and, we're newbie friendly. We're also experienced. So if you've done 100 flips, you're going to find value in working with the associates group or the EMD Gap because, like I said, we're non-judgmental. We want everybody to succeed. My role in this is to build the platform for you guys and get more resources, and that includes human resources. We have all the guides, all the files, documents, downloads you need, but we also have an incredible amount of human resource talent, and that's number one in this group. And it's happened organically. There's a lot of stuff we didn't plan on. We were going a different direction, and then it's just like you got to do this because this is the way that real estate's going. And if Kevin does his presentation, he's going to tell you guys about a lot of stuff going on, Treasury Department, things like that. BRICS, if you guys heard about BRICS, Basel 3 just took effect finally. Basel affects, Basel Switzerland is where the Bank of International Settlements is, and they just basically there's not gonna be a lot of stuff on paper anymore. So there's a lot of resources out there, and like I said, we'll be providing that program once a week or once every 2 weeks for free. It won't cost anything for our associates or EMD Gap, so you guys it's completely on your own, and you'll get the video. And if you don't, you can watch it on your own or don't watch it. We're going to make sure you guys get all that resources because it's just interesting to know about stuff going on in the economy and stuff like that. And it's international. And there's a lot of stuff that, unfortunately, our people in finance don't seem to understand. They're going to try to go digital and all that stuff. But real estate's still going to be strong in some areas, and some areas it's going to need some work. There's going to be a few areas that are going to be really strong. I think storage is one of them. Things like that. Storage is huge. Short-term rentals is obviously having some issues with different markets trying to ban them or severely restrict them. That happens a lot in the area I live in. I live in 20 miles west of Denver, and all over Colorado. In fact, in my own county, people are like trying to ban short-term rentals. And you go to like Aspen or Steamboat Springs, Dale, they're trying to ban them. It's just really kind of horrific, what they're thinking about doing to people's private property and stuff. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, like I feel to, tonight I'm gonna basically, I'll make sure you guys have it tonight or tomorrow afternoon. It'll be in the afternoon, and then I'll make sure you guys have that invitation to tomorrow to Wednesday nights. It's gonna be at 5:30 Denver time to the associate group. You can come in there and hopefully, you guys, if you guys want to get in. So like I said, we do have, we do charge for the associate group. It's $3.99. We actually that's through Thursday. On Friday, we'll have our first price. We've been charging $3.99 for 3 years, and it'll be going to $1,500. We've been told a lot. People have been like, "Hey, you charge like $3,000 for this. Is everything you provide." So there is a $3.99 thing, but we've also decided like if you guys want to earn it back right away, when it goes to $1,500, if you guys refer somebody and they join, we'll give you $500 referral fee. So you made your $3.99 back when you're up $101. And then also through Casey and some other people, you can get some referral fees. I mean, literally, you could get paid this week if you send him a referral tonight, and because his company can close in 7 to 10 days, and sometimes even faster. So if you guys are out there and you're seeing people need funding, and you guys are in the group, you're from the Casey, he can probably get paid in a week or two. We're tops longest. That's if it is going to be like a 7 day close, and he's got the resources, the ability to do it, and he'll talk to you guys on Wednesday night. So you guys would definitely want to consider joining the associates group. We're going to basically do a subscription as well for the EMD group. That'll be announced at the end of the week. We're kind of like, what we're going to do on that. And then obviously you guys, like I said, you get a free 100% free membership for life in the virtual system. That'll launch probably first week in January, not January 1st. but probably in that week, after that, we'll have the virtual system. I want to start it with at least a half a dozen tracks. We're going to start it with like doing LLCs, entities, things like that, talking about banking, talking about your business, branding, so people can come in and get that, and then having the facilitators come in and run tracks. We're going to have 3 or 4 flippers running tracks, the flipping track. We're going to have 3 or 4 people doing buy and holds for residential doing the tracks. So there'll be 3 or 4 people in each one. I think we'll have at least 3 securities attorneys talking about regulation deregulation A, how to raise capital. So we're going to be pretty bar based and give everybody kind of like, you can, like I said, I'm not the expert. I'm bringing in facilitators, people that are the experts. There's people that I talk to all the time that, I know like this much, but I need to know this much. So I'll just get a facilitator to teach this much, and they're better at it than I am. I'm more, like I said, I'm trying to be like more the providing the platform and being the grand facilitator or whatever we call it, making sure that all the resources out there. But if you guys have any questions, like I said, this is a great time to answer. We got
Hey
our
Nate, I got
associate.
a quick question.
Yeah, Kevin, what's up?
Hey, hey, my name is Kevin. I'm in Kansas City as well. Hey, I just wondering, this is the first time I've ever seen anything about you guys. Do you have a website I can look at, or?
We don't have the website up because that's going to be used for the virtual program. So the one that we've used in the past,
Mhm.
myprivatemoneyauthority.com, is going to be for the virtual. So we kind of took it down for that. So we don't, most of the time we're operating in our Facebook groups,
Okay,
just to be clear on that, because it's like I said, I'm reserving that one for the virtual because I've had it for 7 years, and it's just that's what we're gonna just basically launch the virtual with it. I have another one for my own company because I have my own company as well, besides the one I have with Kevin and Jesse. And then
uh-huh.
so yeah, anything you need to know is a lot of us in our Facebook groups. That's kind of where we're inviting everybody, to come and talk to everybody else that's in it. We have a lot of good people. A lot of, you guys will see right away. A lot of, we have some really solid people. So we kind of make it about the people and not us.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll give you guys that invitation. So if anybody want, like, just hit me up on Messenger too, and I can give you guys the link. It'll be Wednesday night at 5:30 Denver time. We do have one tonight at 5:30 as well, but we're kind of wrapping up the first half of what we're doing, and when we come back from Labor Day break, we are going to be live. We're calling it Deal Desk. I mean, people are like, "Hey, you should call it something cool," and I'm like, "Yeah, we're just, this is a deal, whatever, presentation night or whatever." So that way people can come in and say, "Hey, I've got a flip I need funding on." Then you guys can do a breakout group if it looks good or you need any help or something like that. So there's not many groups. I've heard a few, but I've never actually been able to confirm them or see them myself. There's a few I've heard that where people, I'd like to provide the opportunity where you guys can actually be live on video talking to people about, and that way you don't have this like you see a profile picture or a Facebook group and you don't know who they are. Here you actually can see them because they're obviously going to be solid people if they're on there talking to you. They can answer your questions and then go to the breakout groups. And everybody that's a lender to our group has joined the associate program, which is great. So they've put a lot of time into it, and some everybody's paid a membership fee. So people, you can feel pretty good that they're in there, or they've done, obviously, Gwen has their experience at Federal Reserve. I mean, that's invaluable. I mean, if you guys have never talked to anybody that's been that high up in the Federal Reserve ranks, to be able to talk to her and stuff and see, her background. Because, she knows like the Fed Reserve chairman and stuff, those guys and the branch presidents, You guys remember Too Big to Fail, the movie? Tim Geithner was actually the president of the New York branch of the Federal Reserve. And then after that crisis, when Hank Paulson stepped down because of the end of the Bush administration, Tim Geithner became Treasury Secretary. So then you guys think about the people like Gwen, who's, she was just a couple steps down from the branch president, who Kevin's friends there too, of Kansas City branch. He actually retired, the branch president of Kansas City. And Kansas City oversees Wyoming, Omaha, and Denver. So that's the Region 10 for the Federal Reserve. A lot of people just know the big Federal Reserve. They don't know all the branches. But Kevin actually worked on the community engagement arm. And like I said earlier, if you guys came on late, his family is very successful in automotive and commercial real estate. At one point they had 55 buildings. Yeah, let me give you guys the Facebook groups. real quick. So you guys can see. Let me give me a second to type them. So I'm actually typing at a kind of an odd angle. Um, so I'll talk while I do it. So the first one I'm going to give you guys is just the EMD grip. Um, and then, like I said, I have all the the email addresses from when I sent you guys the email, um, the confirmation. So I'll send you guys a link for Wednesday night. That's an invitation to join us. That is the EMD and group, EMD Gap. Okay. Then our regular group, and this is the one, that is a membership group, but it's awesome. You guys got all the files, the downloads, and all that stuff in there as the Prep Money Associates. And you guys can see, I think we have 74 people. Um, and this is Prep Money Associates. And then if you guys just want to take a look at it, I mean, hopefully it's right. I screwed up one of these. An email I sent, somebody pointed it out. Like it was like HTTPS or whatever. You don't forget that stuff. Lightspeedvt.com is the company that actually we're going to be building the virtual program with using. And then, like I said, completely different company. But if you guys want to look at Storm Ventures Group, you guys can see how they're set up with Lightspeed. If you go to their contractor store, stormventuresgroup.com, and if you go to their contractor store, you'll see SVG University, SVGU, and their contractor store. And we will be set up exactly like that. And so if you guys decide you wanted to become an associate, like I said, I mean, literally somebody joins in the virtual program in January and they're not in the program, they could be paying, a couple $100 a month for a member, for that. Or, there's gonna be some different options. Some people can come in and just take a track. If they want to just come and learn how to flip houses, they want to come and set up entities, there'll be some bundles as well. There's a few different options. You guys can see what they do at SVG. Like it's a completely different industry, but man, if you have a restoration company and you want to have your production manager go through a program, they got the program specifically for the production manager. They got them for the sales managers. They got them for the salespeople. I mean, they got a lot of, you guys will see a lot of stuff. And so we're actually starting to build content. I have a appointment with them in mid-September in about 3 weeks. And we'll actually it'll start being built at that point. We'll start working with them and getting stuff to start importing to the privatemoneyauthority.com website, which is the domain. So we're gonna need it for 5 more years, so we're gonna set it up. But yeah, it's phenomenal. Like I said, we got 74 people. We got people doing deal to deal. It's all designed to be peer-to-peer to associate to associate, and it's a pretty good program. I think it's like I said, we have 13 people join the first one, 6 are still around. I think we're up to, like I said, around 70 out of the 74. There's probably 65 who have, paid members. There's a few that, obviously Gwen and stuff. There's a few people we invited who are really seriously experienced people that we needed, just to ramp it up and give people before we had all the lenders we have now, be able to give, some where people could at least go and get deals funded. They didn't have to worry about like, hey, we're still building this. We had some people there to start it with, that I kind of know. And I've been, people I've seen since I started brokering in 2017, people like Cam Wynn, Michael Steele, Owen Doyle, Dennis Sanders. There's about 8 or 9 people that are in that group that are very experienced lenders. But Casey's companies knew they're coming on, and you guys want to be on the Zoom on Wednesday night, and I will. Yeah, if you guys just want to hit me up at the messenger or something like that too, I can make sure you get the associate Zoom. So let me make sure I've got my. I'll put my actually. But yeah, I think it's a great group, and I'd like to invite as many people as you can to join us. Um, but yeah, if anybody has any questions or anything like that, I keep trying to get Kevin doing. He may be working on a project. Sometimes he's like talking to people. He does a lot of stuff where he's talking to like lenders and stuff like that, going through their programs. Anybody have any
Hey,
questions? Oh, Kevin.
hey, Nate, can
Yeah,
you give me your email address?
yeah. Yeah, I'm actually, it's kind of interesting in Kansas City. Like, I thought three or four people have been on from Kansas City in the last couple weeks. So
Cool.
you guys can all get to,
It's
yeah.
hot here.
Well, we have a lady named Nancy Obie, but she's not there anymore. She went to Georgia. She retired from the Army from Fort Riley. And then we have Scott Strickland, who's been in our private money authority group since 2008, 19, is in Springfield, so not too far away. And then we got a few other people out there, and then obviously Gwen was in, Kansas City when she worked for the Fed. So Kevin's got a lot of people out there that he can, you guys can all get together, almost have a group. We have another group in Colorado that's got a guy in Wyoming, one in Mexico, and one in Grand Junction, and they're all within like 2 hours of each other each way. So we've got a lot of like clusters, and we cover pretty much. There's only a few spots in the country we don't have people. We have a lot more on the East Coast. We have a couple in Phoenix and California. We don't. I don't think we have anybody in Oregon or Washington or Idaho, but we do have a lot of other states covered, like that Northwest. I think even going into Montana and stuff, we're kind of bare, but we definitely like to get people up there because that also helps you guys. If you guys come in, you got boots on the ground. You got friends and people that can go check on things for you, or boots on the ground, whatever. You know, we got a lot of lenders. A lot of people want to lend money. If you got $2,000 to $10,000 liquid or even more, and it's all done through the title company, and you can work with what the idea is also to be able to have people who have 20,000 or 50,000 and want to do larger deals could actually work with Casey and those guys directly, the first position lenders. So think about, instead of having you have to go through and vet your borrowers, you basically work with them, and they basically are going to be having a deal, like almost like the term shovel ready. You're gonna have a
Yep.
deal ready to fund because the first position lenders have already done all the paperwork. They've done the underwriting. They come to you and say, "Hey, you've got 20,000. We need 10,000." Yeah, actually, in uh in Pennsylvania, we have Doris Moore. As far as Doris is on here, she's been in since January. She's only missed like two sessions on either Mondays or Wednesdays. And then we also have a couple people in Ohio. Um, I know for Anthony Machad's there, who's one of our PMA people from our private money disorder, our different group. I think we have somebody else from Ohio. Massachusetts, we're strong. Jesse Page is there. He's our other business partner. He's in Massachusetts. We got a couple of people down in the Georgia, Carolina areas. One in Florida, a couple in Texas. I mean, like I said, 74 people. There's a lot of people like, they've actually never even told us where they're from, really. But we kind of it's a pretty good group, like I said, and we put about 5 hours a week into Zooms. So that's a
Well,
pretty good,
I'm interested in doing some lending myself. So
yeah, which would be great. And then we can get you set up with that and then provide you all in the associate group, we provide all the documents and stuff you need for that business where you can have your own contracts. You don't have to go out there and create them. You can copy and
wonderful.
paste and all that stuff. We provide that. I mean, for the price, I mean, $399 to be able to get a ton of stuff and be able to access
Exactly.
to borrowers and clients and to have also to the first position lenders. People, and then you
Wow.
got like Gwen and you got Erica, who's, she's, when you do exceptions at Wells Fargo, the VPs and the C-suite officers know who you are because you're overriding some major decisions. And top 12 banks, Wells Fargo, JP, Goldman, Morgan, State Street. There's a few other ones. The whole list of people from Too Big to Fail. There's like 12 of them, the 12 largest banks. And then, like I said, the virtual program is going to be awesome. That's our back end for Kevin and Jesse and a few other people. Our back end is that because obviously that will generate a considerable amount of revenue, but we are going to kick 33% back. We actually want people on referral fees and stuff to make money. We don't want it to be an affiliate or, oh, I made $100. You know, I'd rather have you make 500 or 1,000 or a little bit more money. Um, Building a business, building, your income, your cash flow, your wealth, your assets and all that stuff. So we designed it originally. It wasn't supposed to be totally associate to associate, peer to peer. It kind of evolved that way because it just makes sense. People want to do deals with each other, and it takes a lot of work. We can just provide all the resources. I have more resources than It's just trying to. I can put them all up there. I don't want to overwhelm people. I don't want people to go, oh, I just posted 10 things and they're going to go through 10 things. We can match up with and the ability too, Kevin, is you can go through, like when you come in associates, you can actually go into the files tab section and go, well, I need this form, I need this document, or somebody's doing this. Well, if somebody's coming to you to borrow money for something, you're not 100% sure on that. sector or that acquisition strategy, that funding strategy, you can go to the guides and the files tab and get what you need at least to get a baseline understanding of it. And then you know people in the group who already who can help you. And we kind of have a thing on Monday nights. Monday nights is the open discussion besides deal desk. So you can come in and
Mhm.
go, hey, I need to. Somebody's coming to me and they're doing this is a seller carry or this is something else, and you come away knowing how to maybe how to do it without having to go find. You guys have all seen once in a while I post this thing called "You've Been Guried," and it's kind of that AOL voice. If you got mail, you've been guried. I kind of don't like, a lot of people don't. There's some really good people out there. There's some people out there that aren't, and I think a lot of people just, you know, I don't know. I just try to spread our knowledge. I did 250 deals in 3 years. The first 3 years I did this, and then it's just kind of like, you know, you got to find a way after COVID of helping people get resources they need. And there's so much out there that people can, you give them the resources, you give them the human resource connections and all that stuff, they can run with it. You give them a baseline. And so, like in the EMD Gap group, we'll probably give people 15 to 20% of what the associates group gets. And Wednesday night's all education, 2.5 hours. We try to on documents night. If we're going over documents, it's maybe an hour and a half because I usually share screen. I tell people download it. I'm not going to go word by word, and I use examples. You will see this document. You may not want to use it. It may not be applicable because there's some weird states. California is really strict, things like that. But we have people. Casey's company can do deals in all 48 states. It just depends on what kind of deal. So we're trying to recruit more and more lenders like that. And then if people want to lend money, guys, like what better way to do it than you got a group of people that you get to talk to twice a week at least, plus, on video and you get to know them. It's not like they're coming to you blind. You don't know who this person is emailing you say, yeah, I need $10,000. It's like, well, who are you? Well, you just know this person you spent 8 weeks just watching Zooms of them, watching them, communicating with them and seeing them participating. You can go, I feel pretty good about that person. Let me see if Kevin Knapp, what's going on with you? Did you take a nap? I gotta see if you can. Are you able to talk now?
Is, is it holding up?
No, dude. I've been trying to get you for the last. Hey,
Well,
the other Kevin who's on
this
right
thing's
now,
been floating in and out for
Kevin
just to
Anderson is
hold it.
from Kansas City, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
So,
this has been rough today.
all right. Well,
Anyway, we're going to have all this stuff knocked down. And by the way, in case you didn't know, Nate, Monday is Labor Day.
yeah, I know. It's the
Yes,
break.
it's finally snuck up on you, and you don't even know it.
No, I know it. I know it.
So we'll
Have you guys?
probably get together this weekend and be able to put that thing together and see if we can get it out there next Thursday on the intelligence report, because we're going to have to. There's been a lot happen just today alone that haven't been able to keep up with. It's getting sticky.
Yeah. So, guys,
So
yeah, like
we
I
need.
said, Kevin will be able to present you guys completely optional, completely, but you should at least get the videos if you don't attend. And we'll send you the
Well, yeah,
videos.
why don't you send some of those links, Nate? Give them a taste of what's coming.
I'm trying to get him in the associates group and all that first. But no, I
I
will.
know. Okay.
You guys, like I said, Kevin's very much in tune with. I mean, he can tell you about the Federal Reserve meeting he had in 2010. We can go on and on about that.
So
But
can Gwen. She
yeah,
was
because
there.
they were both at the same meeting. So guys, just remember, we have, like I said, we are probably the only group in real estate on Facebook or any kind of thing that has a Federal Reserve banker on the board. So, like I said, we have an advisory board. So you guys are lending, like, they want to lend or broker. You've got people on there that are that experienced who can kind of guide you and go, okay, sounds like a good decision, and they can kind of help new people structure, on these calls. And so we have a 7-person advisory board, a couple of private money brokers, a couple lenders. We got Erica Walker from Wells Fargo. We got Gwen from the Federal Reserve, and they all have Gwen and Erica have their own lenders after they retired. So you can imagine the contacts they have, guys. That if you need to get deals done, and they have, imagine what kind of contacts Gwen has. She's obviously got some very major people, and Kevin has also some contacts with the Commerce Department and stuff like that. So we got, there's a lot of stuff out there. We can contact people. We once had a vet a guy that was trying to. There's two guys. One guy was pretending to be. That was a weird situation with Bahrain. one guy was pretending to be like doing stuff with the charge affairs, who you guys know is like
Yeah.
the deputy ambassador, and the other guy was like pretending to be like connected to the royal family in Bahrain. Both of them were trying to defraud each other, and we got caught in the middle. And so we ended up getting the State Department, and then there's this little agency that has a C and an A in it. There's another letter in the middle of it, came on the same email, and where they basically shut them down. So, guys, like I said, we definitely would like to invite you to join us, and we'll make sure you guys get on Wednesday nights. On associates group as a thing, and if you want to join, like I said, we do have, we're going to close out on Thursday at $3.99. So I mean, we're doing a price adjustment. We haven't done one since we started. We've been at 3.90. We did one. We did $2. We went from 3.97 to 3.99. But that was mostly just it was like. But we're doing a price adjustment on Friday. So anybody wants to get an associates group, like I said, there's one last opportunity for Thursday. But EMD Gap group was also going to be huge. And like I said, we're trying to recruit 2,000 couple thousand people in there. So you guys have a base. If you're in the associates group, you've got a base of customers and borrowers and people that you can lend money to that, then they'll get enough resources that you get to know them. So that's our goal. And then at that point, everybody's going to transfer to virtual. And Kevin can tell you how much I've been working on the virtual over the last like 3 or 4 years. Got a lot of time into that. We got a lot of data on it showing just how incredible it's going to be, and we're going to do a lot of AI with it and stuff like that. There's a lot of good information where you guys can log in it, you know. And we're with Privy. We got a relationship with Privy. Imagine getting home from work at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock if you have a 9 to 5 still, or if you're got real estate business, you can sit there and go watch an hour of videos, log into Privy, go watch an hour of videos on the virtual modules, and then go log on to Privy through Privy and some other resources, Chat GPT and all that, be able to actually get a deal. And then you basically hit up Casey's or one of our lenders. The next morning, maybe they give you an approval. Casey's company can usually close in 7 to 10 days or less on some things. Imagine being able to do that and having that gives you time back, because you can make it more efficient. You can go watch, I'm going to go watch seller carry. I've never done seller carry. Boom. You can go download our seller carry document, our 3-tier offer. You can go do this. You can go do that. You don't have to go and hunt around and it's gonna give you a lot of time back for your family or your hobbies or things you like to do. And then you can start building income, cash flow, assets, and wealth. And we want people to build like wealth, like multi-generational wealth. And so that's kind of the focus of the group, guys. And I know we're going to take a little bit of break in a minute because we got our Zoom at 5:30. I usually like to have about an hour between them if I do 2 of them in a day. So if anybody has any questions, like I said, we're probably going to tear away about 15, 20 minutes to take our break before our 5:30. And then, like I said, I've got just to make sure if you definitely, I'm going to give it to everybody. Yeah, I have your email addresses, but if you definitely want to come on the associates for sure and you want to get a priority, just hit me up tonight. In the next 24 hours, I'll give you that invitation, that guest pass to associates, and then you guys can hear that presentation. Basically, 5:30 by 5:40. I'm planning to turn on the recording and turn it over to Casey, let him co-host for how long he needs to co-host it. So you guys can come in. We're going to mute everybody. You can ask questions in chat, and then afterwards we'll probably do a little bit of question and answer. But Kevin, what do you think about Casey's company?
Well, from what I've seen, it looks pretty dynamic. It's just trying to make sure that we get everybody on the same page. What I was hoping we could do is be able to combine the educational format that you're trying to put together with what we're doing with Lightspeed. And if we can accomplish that, I think it'll be, a whole lot more that we'll be able to do with everybody that's in here and people that actually have money to work with, getting together with those guys and doing some syndications possibly as well. And the fact that we're going to have an EMD arm, that never hurts to have somebody outside the system come in and approach them and then, coming to us for some EMD work. So there's a lot of different things that can happen. And then once we go public with this thing, turn 180 degrees, it's a lot more people holding arms being able to work these things out. So in essence, I think it's a really good deal. Wednesday is going to be a very interesting That would, I think, if you're going to take the time out of all the times that we've been able to do this, that one right there, I think, is going to be the most interesting Zoom meeting that we've had, because there's just the people that I've been able to talk to there, and I've talked to several different people besides Casey at this point now, by the way. They have a lot of breadth in their organization, just as much as we do. I'm not saying it's a merger, because it's really not technically, but it's a merger of ideas and direction that, I think, combine the two, it's going to be very powerful. And then anybody else that comes in here with their stuff, all of a sudden you got access to several hundred lenders that are active, that have deep pockets and are up to date. They're not just playing in yesterday's game, and they're willing to be able to, develop more stuff as the industry changes. So it's very dynamic.
Yeah. So guys, I'm typing right now. I'm gonna try to do this. I don't want to like accidentally hang you guys up on this floor. So I'm gonna try to put in the meeting ID here. I don't know if this is gonna work. So I'm gonna put it here, but I'm still gonna get it to you
Well,
guys. Hit me up a messenger. Yeah, hit me up a messenger for sure. And then I'll also try to get it to your email, but let me see if this works. Meeting ID. So this is for Wednesday night. So it's at 5:30 Denver time. So all of our sessions are at Denver time, and they're usually Monday and Wednesdays at 5:30. So I'm going to put in the meeting ID number if you guys want to go to it. But if you guys want the direct link, then I'm going to try to email it to you guys, because I emailed the mass number. There's only like 2 people that were added since I did the mass, that came on today. Because I want you guys to. Oh, it's just hard for me to sometimes to do this right. So there's the meeting ID number, and the passcode is, I try to make it simple. See if that, if you guys can find it, that is the meeting ID number for, like I said, I'll definitely, I'll get it out to you guys as soon as,
Yeah, it doesn't
tonight.
look like it was through, Nate.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely give you guys the link better, and I can, I can copy and
I would
paste it
just
to you.
send it to them via email on their email link, that they gave you for getting into this. And
Yep. Yeah, I'll make sure you guys all have it, but like definitely, if you want a priority or something, hit me up on Messenger. But I'll try to get it to email, because we have the emails from the when you guys registered. Because what I also do is, like, we had 35 people sign up, so I kind of said, if you come on, I'll give you the invitation for Wednesday night that you can attend. If you signed up and you didn't attend today, I'll send you guys them the video on Thursday, so they can still get the information, because I think we have that much. I think, guys, we're changing the game, and I think with our associates group, and then especially with our associates group, what we've done, I think we've actually just flipped the script on a lot of what's going on there and lending wise. I mean, literally between like the 8 or 9 people we have that can do first position lending or brokering, there's no reason anybody can't get funded. I mean, they've got EMD and Gap, so if you need some down payment assistance, people are newer. Like, we don't rip people apart in our group. Like, hey, somebody's new, if you want to do real estate, you need to have down payment or whatever. We got some people that can do it in a JV situation or help things. Um, on the group, I can actually just send you guys I do Venmo or PayPal, Ron, for the group,
yeah,
and then
send them the link to that
yeah,
too.
we do that. I can send you guys the link as well for that. It is actually in the email. If you guys got an email from me from info@privatemoneyauthority.com, which I sent you guys, there's a PayPal link in there. We also use Venmo. When you join right away, literally, unless it's like 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm sleeping, I will get you in the group. I send you the 2 links after you join, and then you're in right away. You can download. It's value loaded. I load everything up front, so you can get in and if you get in and you just want to get all the documents and don't do anything else, guys, you can go in and get everything. You can download the lender list. You can get all the hedge fund contacts, family offices. There's 10,000 contacts, guys. You can actually just take the CSVs. Don't open them, because people who haven't seen CSVs are like, that's code. Yeah, it's code. Go is import that into your contacts in LinkedIn. Watch what happens over 30 days. You suddenly have 2,500, 3,000 friends in hedge funds, family offices. Some do real estate. They do say, we talk about the asset classes they invest in. Asset center management, you got name, contact information, their business address, their phone number, if they still use fax. I mean, surprisingly, how many people on Wall Street and Silicon Valley still use fax? A lot of them. Email addresses, things like that. We've also got there's also a country breakdown. So it says here, how many of the United States are North America, how many are here. So you can just break it down and pull up how many are North America. So you know that people in India and stuff aren't going to be, you don't want to be, a lot of those cases you don't want to be talking to them. But we've also got in our associates group, we've got a lender list. It's a pivot table. It's got 3 databases. There's a couple others being added. There's a total of about 1,300 lenders. We have about 850 active right now. I send that out twice a year for verification. If I get 861 back, there's 861 on there. We'll review that at the end of the year one more time. We did it in May. We'll do it one more time in about November. If it comes back and there's 1,100, there'll be 1,100 lenders on that list. It's in a pivot table. You can find it. You can go sometimes 3 wide as far as different assets they invest in. We got some church, we got some mezzanine. There's a bunch of different, church lenders. If you know a church that's looking to borrow money, they have a weird way of underwriting that. They look at their receipts from their offerings, um, things like that, and diocese funds and stuff. There's some weird underwriting they do for churches, but we've got mezzanine. We got some that do healthcare. We got some that do. We have some people too as well. We have a gentleman who's joining, and he's recruiting a few of his friends, and he actually is interested in merchant cash advance as well as the M&A space. He's actually bringing resources. So if you're looking to invest money or loan money, you can also get into additional, areas. Once we have that up and running, obviously we'll get the real estate. That's our bread and butter, but we'll have some other avenues people can get into. There's also an area that I'm interested in called litigation funding, which you have to really have some, almost 7-figure, at least mid 5-figure, at least or high 5-figure to mid 6-figure to get into it. But it's lucrative because it's like 2-for-1. You loan $100,000, you get $200,000 back after the lawsuit's been settled and all that stuff. And it's non-recourse. How they do it with the lenders, how they do it with those lenders for that space is the underwriters are pretty much all lawyers, and they review the cases. And the 5 largest litigation funders in the industry are about 90% on getting their money back because obviously, so it's lawsuit funding. So we got a few other interests besides that. Everything is private money, and we can tell you guys that they're looking at the private money industry is where it's at. And we're tied into MPLA, and we're Leonard Rosen, Matt Rosen. Like I mentioned earlier, guys, I went to Pitbull Conference. I'll be at all 3 of them next year as a sponsor, and I basically will represent the associates there. We'll be launching the virtual system, but you guys go there, and it's Rick. You got Rock Capital, you got RCN Capital, you got John Hornick, Private Lender Law. We have a lot of resources, guys. Securities attorneys, real estate attorneys. We got all kinds of resources. We got one of the best guys for logos and websites and branding, and he's in Pakistan. He's in all of our groups, and you guys can just hit him up. And he's the best guy, who'll give you his Fiverr link. I met him on Fiverr, used him 5 years. He's probably done work for about 200 people because of our group and our associations. And the guy's pretty phenomenal, right out of Lahore, Pakistan. So it's kind of interesting. And we have that connection. And, if you guys need a new logo, need any kind of branding, he can help you. AI, we're kind of we're doing a lot of stuff with Chat GPT 3, starting to get into 4. And but the virtual system is going to be where it's at. So anybody that I'll send you guys out the link as far as Wednesday night goes, and then for those people that have asked me for the payment links, I'll send those out as well. Like I said, you get in right away, like literally as soon as you pay, and I get confirmation. I get you in those groups right away. There's 2 of them. You get into the associates group, other resources, and then a lot of you guys are already in the EMD group, Gap, but a lot of the associates will be coming in here to lend. And if you want to lend money, like I said, guys, the advisory board is there for you guys on Monday nights to basically kind of slow roll you. Like I said earlier, I don't want people coming in and going all in. If you come in and told me I got 100 grand and it's all liquid, I'm still gonna go. I'd rather have you put in 10,000 at once or 5,000. Start out a few of them, get your feet wet. Like so many of those groups, I need your 100,000. You guys will see people hitting up for 100,000 if they know you have it. I'd rather have you go 5,000, 10,000. Start out, get your feet wet, get your systems down, get your processes. Make sure you're comfortable because at that point you're not all in, and if you just decide it's not for you, you recover that money pretty quick, and you can just go to do something else. And if you guys just want the resources, you've got all the files you can download. You got the guides. You can just be totally passive. And then if you develop relationships, like you really get hit off with Casey, and you just want to work with his company, and basically, fun deals
Yep.
that his people are doing, you can be 100% passive. You get that relationship with you. You can also make referrals to him. You can broker for his company, or you can just be like, he comes to you and says, I need $10,000 from my client. It's closing next week. Can you fund it? You loan the $10,000, maybe you 10, 15%. You make $1,500 on top of that coming back. His company does all the paperwork. They have the title. It's a smooth deal. You guys will see on Wednesday night. Everything is designed, guys, not to. It's your money, your decision. Our whole thing is to provide the platform for you, provide the resources, and then with be able to get more resources. And the human resource talent is what's impressive in the people in the group. Not everyone's on every call. You'll see a lot of more experienced people aren't on the Wednesdays as much as the newer people because they're obviously learning. There's a lot of experienced people that but on Wednesday night, I think this will have a good turnout. Like I said, we've got 10 to 12 lenders just like Casey. Every lender who comes in can do a presentation. If you don't need 2 hours, that's good. I mean, hopefully people can do it in 15 minutes, 30 minutes. But if you need 2 hours, you get 2 hours. We just got to schedule ahead of time. Most of those will also happen on Monday nights. Wednesdays, it's very rare for me. I'm not going to give up too many Wednesday nights. I got a lot of content to go through. Originally, we were doing a 16-week course. It turns out to be 19 weeks. I actually kind of, figured out that we have 19 weeks between when we started and end of June and Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving. And then we might do a couple weeks. And like Kevin is saying, he's doing his intelligence briefing. We may start doing that. I want to start doing that as early as maybe late next week after we have a few days off. We all need a little bit of break for Labor Day. And then, like I said, guys, so I'll get you guys the invitation. Kevin, I'll get you that for you. As far as the links go, Rod, I'll get you that payment link. Everybody join us. I mean, like I said, anybody that wants to, if you guys want specific things, just hit me up on Messenger. It's usually the fastest way because I answer back right away. I'm usually on Messenger till about 10 o'clock at night. I usually don't have my laptop after, I don't have my email where I can send you things. I can email you guys from my phone, but I don't have all the resources. So did I put let me make sure I let me put in my direct, so you guys see me all the time, but otherwise you wouldn't be here. But let me make sure I've got my profile on Facebook. You can also find me at my hot sauce company if you guys didn't know. I actually have a hot sauce company. They rock the hot sauce. But there's my direct. And then if you guys can also text me, and you guys need a call. Just text me ahead of time. Give me hey, I need a call or something. I'll tell you what I'm doing. When I can schedule, there's my phone number. So you guys can just text me if you guys want to do a call or private or one-on-one. Like I said, then after Wednesday this week, we'll actually really about Friday through about Tuesday of next week. We'll be taking a lot of time for the holiday, but I still work on most of those days. I'll be doing 2 or 3 hours just every day of trying to get stuff uploaded for you guys and for all the associates. But I want everybody to enjoy the holidays, and then we'll be taking the Monday of Veterans Day off, but we will be meeting that Wednesday. Got a lot of veteran stuff coming up. You guys know this year is actually the 30th anniversary of Black Hawk Down, believe it or not. So it's kind of amazing. It's been 30 years. So we're bringing a gentleman in January who's actually was the staff sergeant brand new to Delta Force. And he was 24 years old. That was his first mission. He retired as a command sergeant major, and so he's going to be coming on and doing some stuff with us in January, February. It's be kind of cool. So we're bringing a lot of resources in.
You need
But
to
yeah,
get
guys.
ready.
Yeah, we got our 5:30 guys, so we need to take a little bit of a break. You guys can come in and like I said, if you guys want to get in this week, and then hopefully, like I said, we're going to cap at 100. Once we're at 100, we're not bringing anybody on for associates, and we're going to go about 3,500 as the EMD group, which is mostly, like I said, borrowers and clients, people you guys can lend money to or do deals with. So that gives you a lot of people. All right, guys, I appreciate your time. I'll make sure I get the links out for you guys. Just watch for me in your email or hit me up. Like I said, hit me up a messenger anyway, because I can maybe even do one-on-one or, talk to you individually specifically what your plans and your goals are. So that way, if you guys want to talk, I can. I'll just be busy from 5:30 to about 7 tonight. So after that, I'm good. All right, guys, I appreciate your time. I'm gonna take it off recording.